Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has revealed that the governor of Zamfara State, Matawalle, is being investigated over allegations of corruption, award of phantom contracts, and diversion of 70 billion naira. EFCC said it was making the development known following the recent attempt by the outgoing governor to cast assumptions on the integrity of the agency's fight against corruption. The agency's Director of Media and Public Affairs, Osita Nwanja, who spoke on behalf of the chairman of the agency, Abdurrashid Bawa, made this disclosure on Thursday while addressing journalists at the commission's headquarters in Abuja. Arise analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us to discuss the various imports of this heavyweight altercation. Good to have you here today.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Here, right.
All right. There is a massive back and forth between Governor Bello Matawalle and the EFCC. Yeah. What's your take on this with the allegations leveled against the governor of Zamfara State?
Okay, there was a book I read when I was in the secondary school, Kidnapped by R. Stevenson. There's a phrase there, play me foul, I play you tricky. I think that is what is happening now. You see, there is a media trial and there is a media defense. But one should ask the question, will the EFCC spokesman, Osita, will they have issued the statement of defense of the EFCC and the media trial of Matawalle if he has not accused the EFCC of being corrupt, and if he has not raised the alarm that the EFCC boss should not be allowed to travel out before May 29, because he may not come back because he has cases to answer. Either way, you see the allegations are massive, 70 billion, and then people in Zamfara, people collecting money, not doing the project, and then be asked to return the money in dollars, and those are massive, heinous crimes. So, on paper, Matawalle has been found guilty as charged. But that is against the principle of natural justice or the law. The law says you are presumed innocent until found guilty. In fact, in law, there was a day we were discussing some things here now about corruption. There is a doctrine in law, Blackstone doctrine, that it is better for 10 to 1 theory, they call it, for 10 guilty people to escape than for one innocent person to suffer. That is not at play here. And you see, what is at play here with the EFCC is that Matawalle has been found guilty, you get me now, before any trial. But then the EFCC has power to prevent crime, to penalize crime, to persecute people, to seize property. But what Matawalle has said is that it should be probed. Its activities should be probed. If Matawalle had not said that, will the EFCC have issued the statement they made about him, which is an indictment, total indictment, guilty as charged? Which, well, the news now in journalism, you see when the dog bites a man, it is no news. It is when the man bites the dog. It is when Matawalle can be found free in the court of law now. That will be real news, which is almost an impossibility given the massive charges laid at his door. But then again, Matawalle is a brave man. Not many governors will dare to do what he has done. But what he has said, what he said is not something you can ignore. He said, okay, the governors have immunity, but the presidency too has immunity. The president, vice president, the executive federal, he said they should be probed. You get me? There's nothing wrong with that. And then people will give him kudos, given the rate at which the Federal Executive Council have been passing, approving expenditure for so many contracts just weeks before May 29th. So there's no smoke without fire. And every cloud has its own silver lining. So you cannot totally condemn Matawalle. You get me? So the ball is in the court of public opinion.
Well said.
And it is a spectacle worth watching.
Indeed.
Yes.
You know, but what do you make of Matawalle actually questioning the integrity of the EFCC? Do you see reason in that? Even though he's, you know, performing a classic case of whataboutism, what about this one, that one, what about this person? Your attention should be here. Is the integrity of EFCC at stake?
It should be at stake. Matawalle is a state governor. He's a man, he's a very powerful man in his own right. They have laid grave allegations at his doorstep, but they did not raise those allegations until he accused Rashid Bawa of being, not the saint that people think he is. You see, in law, he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. If you're anti-corruption person, you should, like Caesar's wife, you must be above suspicion. So it is up to what the EFCC spokesman Osita has done is to throw the ball back in the court of Matawalle and accuse him. You get me? And accuse him also of blackmail, that it is because they are doing their work, that they have always done their work. It's a long battle. I'm sure you have not heard the end of the matter. You get me? Now it is up to EFCC now to take the challenge of Matawalle and maybe extend his probe to the presidency. Because it's very, those in the presidency are public officials. And EFCC is in charge of financial and economic crimes. And if they have evidence that such things have been done in high places, it is the duty of the EFCC to show evidence that it is doing what it is doing. One thing that Lai Mohammed said was what I said about the president the other time, that the president is entitled to his opinion. You get it now?
Right.
So Matawalle is entitled to his opinion.
All right.
Yes.
Since you say that, of course, Bawa has actually responded and say, accuse me with facts. And rightfully so. That's one thing on one hand, because it's no good just to make bogus accusations that you cannot substantiate. That is one question. Now, another thing I would like to focus on is that a lot of people, especially during this Buhari administration, have questioned the anti-corruption crusade, understanding that they've said it's been heavily selective. As a matter of fact, right from the time of the formation of the EFCC, they've always said anti-corruption crusades in Nigeria are heavily selective, and they only go after political opponents, they only go after people that are falling out of favor with the president and the presidency.
That's the danger with media trial. Do you get me now?
Yes.
If you try people on the EFCC has taken people to court who many times have been set free by the courts because of inadequate, non-diligent prosecution on the part of the EFCC. But that is not even what is on the ground now. What is on the ground now is that, you see, a person is presumed innocent until found guilty. But the dictum of EFCC, a person is presumed guilty until found, yes. That boils up what you have just said. You can only use that if you are doing selective prosecution.
No, my question.
Yes.
My question is, does the EFCC have the manpower and the resources to go after every government official in Nigeria?
No institution has the manpower to go around. The police does not. Okay, look at the police. The police in Nigeria is following the law. Look at the fella's son's case.
Yes, sure.
They said they will not do media trial that is presumed innocent until found in spite of the video. You get me? That is the position of the law. That is the position of a prosecutorial justice in any decent environment, especially in a presidential system or any democracy. A man is presumed innocent until found
guilty, yeah.
guilty, not the other way around.
But speaking of media trial, when asked about responding to queries on why the agency did not speak until Matawalle's allegation, Nwaja actually stated that was the preferred method as they preferred to do their work quietly as opposed to being accused of a media trial.
Yeah, but they don't, everybody knows they don't do their work quietly. You get me? Because
So
invariably,
you see
allegations of, you see, so many people's reputations have been ruined on allegations like this. Because when they are eventually freed, there is not that much fanfare. You get me? As the fanfare that attended their media trial. That is not.
So
that is prosecutorial, wicked prosecution.
So this excuse doesn't suffice in your books?
No, at all. You see, this is mudslinging now. Play me foul, I play you tricky. That is what is in now.
No, but governors.
It's mudslinging now.
But at the same time, governors in Nigeria past. Let's speak about past governors. Have not really covered themselves in glory in terms of.
That's why I say Matawalle is brave. Have you ever heard anybody talk like this? Attack the EFCC? It must have some, it must have some ammunition.
Yeah, or he knows where the bodies are buried, as they say.
Play me foul.
I play you tricky. That's a new one. I'm going to use it soon. Thank you so much. Arise analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. Always a pleasure.